Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a playthrough as Rome, and so we're gonna turn on mixed general roles because those typically always help you, especially in the later game. And then we'll hit start. So here we're gonna be doing like half tutorial, half just like playthrough. And so here, typically with these things, you don't really need to read them through. They don't typically mean that much. It's more important about like these the options down here. And then, so what you're going to want to do at the start, when you jump into any nation, the entire world that this game is in, is you want to start by fixing the things up here. And so you're going to want to, I'm just going to start with trade routes. So I'm going to go with iron for heavy infantry. Either we already have some, so we'll get surplus, which just means that you have multiple in your capital, and you can see the bonus, which is 5% manpower. We're going to go with grain, so we have more food, and then that's going to be at 3 out of 3. Hit OK, OK. And then we're going to want to assign our generals, because you really do need them. And so what you're going to want to look for in this tab right here is mainly you're going to want to look for here, their marshal, which for anything, the higher the number is, typically the better they are. And then here you're going to want to look for more loyalty and corruption, because that'll just determine like if they're likely to rebel you. And corruption in governors means like if they're going to take money from the treasury and from taxes. So we're going to point him to that army, and for navy we're going to point this person. And then invention, because we're having a kind of relatively new update. It's changed, so it's not, you can't just it's not points anymore, it's money, so you don't actually have to. This will just stay up the entire game whether you're broke, or if you're broke then it won't pop up, but like it'll just sap all your money. And you can do this, but it's better to do a bit later in the game, especially not when you're at the very beginning where you might need some money to get your nation started. And then omen. In omens, this in the new update here, you can see we have multiple gods which you can switch out, and you're just going to click the banner, and in this case we're going to do moral of armies so we can try and expand quickly. So we're hitting Mars and then hit OK, and it'll last for 5 years. And then next we're going to have decisions. This is not for every nation in the beginning, but if you do social equality you always will have it, and you'll just have to have a decision to enact it. And there's also a decision to unenact it if you want to for some reason later on. And these are just like different government forms, religions, and different formables or nations that you can form when you occupy certain areas. And here we have free idea slots. So up here you can see the theme of each idea slot, and if you do stay true to this theme, 2 military and 1 oratory, then you will get this bonus, which can be nice. So we're just gonna go morale of armies, and we're gonna go reinforcement speed. And for all these will unlock later in the game. As you can see, martial advantage is greater than or equal to 8, and you just have to, that'll get up later in the game, and then you can change your ideas for a better one. And then for this one we're gonna go with loyalty of generals, so they don't betray me. And yeah, that's typically one you're probably gonna want to do if you have oratory up. So we're gonna hit unpause here, and then we're just gonna speed up the game. At the beginning of the game, especially if you're a smaller nation, and Rome is relatively a smaller nation compared to some nations out here, is you're gonna want to expand, because if you don't expand, and just say complacent, your navies will expand faster than you, and they'll get really big, and then you won't be able to compete. With trade routes, just pretty much always accept. They're always useful. And if you want a tutorial on these, I have a basic tutorial that you can also find on my channel, going over all of these and all the different functions out there. So, for Rome, it's this thing specific to government types that are republics. You see a republic there. That one's a tribe, so this doesn't apply to that, but it applies to this one. So you have a senate. So if you want to do anything, like say I want to declare war on these guys, the senate, it says no. So you have to have, it's around 41 to 50 is, they're kind of like maybe, and you'll have to use 5 tyranny. Up here, you'll have to like add 5 tyranny to get it, pass it through, and then if it's a thumbs up, then you're allowed to do it. Here you can just choose whichever one's better. This one's kind of obviously better, so go with that one. And this is not, okay, stop popping up things. I'm gonna go with this one. So this is not permanent. It's not like you. Okay. It's not like you can never change this. It just depends on like who's your leader. Depends on the thing. This will be called different things, but you always have a symbol there for ruler. And so this will change through elections in republics, and yeah, and with that the Senate will change, and then it'll be like, oh yeah, fine, we can do that. So we're gonna come back because this is a relatively easy nation to declare war on. You notice that they have no alliances here, only casus belli and trade. So what we're going to want to do is covert actions and hit fabricate claim. What this does is this allows you to have a casus belli here, and so if we were to declare war, if Senate would allow us, it would come with a bunch of negative things like a bunch of aggressive expansion, less stability, and more tyranny. So we're going to hit fabricate claim. It just doesn't, it does come with a cost as you saw there, and it does take a while. It depends. There's no set date. It'll just say cancel fabricate claim, and then eventually it will, and it'll pop up on the screen when it does. So we're going to come back once it has. So see you then. Okay, this has popped up. We now have a claim on the province of Apulia. Sorry, I can't pronounce that. But that just means we have a casus belli on them now, and we can declare war when our Senate, that typically never really is on your side very much, likes you and decides to let you declare war. And so while we're waiting for that, we're just going to go over another thing that's sometimes forgotten by a lot of players, even me too, which is missions. And so this, essentially, it'll just give you a thing to do, and then once you do it, it'll give you some rewards. And so you'll have to consult the Senate. You hit that, and then it'll consult the Senate. This will pop up, and you'll hit that, and then it'll start. It'll say it's completed in October 455. So, and then here you can see some various missions that you're supposed to do, and these pretty much all just going to be conquering land. So these ones will want me to take over, like, essentially all of this area, and later on, if these things would stop popping up, it'll want you to conquer, let's see, probably somewhere up here. Well, they'll want you to conquer something. Well, oh, never mind. This is trying to convert to a religion. That's what it looks like, at least. So, yeah. It's completely optional. You know, you don't get a ton. You just get maybe some citizens, maybe like some loyalty. You lose aggressive expansion on this one. But it's kind of thing like if you're feeling like you don't know what to do or you're kind of bored, you can do that so you can kind of further your country. So Senate still doesn't like me. There's an election soon. And this election most likely means that someone else is going to be elected, ideally, and then that means the Senate will hopefully change. So this is a positive thing, and then here, so here, like pretty much exactly the start date of the nation, this 5 years from it, this is just about the mission, and then new ruler, which you can see is pretty good right there, and then it'll stay in terms for 5 years, I believe, maybe it's 4, I don't know, and then you'll get a bunch of new things, because with that, your offices, that guy had a position in the government, and now, you know, someone else needs to be it because he's the leader. And so here you can see that this family, the Prima family, feels scorned, and what happens when they're scorned, they all just start getting less and less loyal. Eventually that could lead to a civil war. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to appoint new things, which kind of always happens with these, and then we're going to go with the same thing we did before. And Senate now partially likes me. So I'm just going to wait. Or never mind, I'm going to declare war. Okay. So with declaring war here, I brought my army over here. It was there. And then you can see that they have 7 cohorts, aka 7,000 men compared to my 12,000. And I will recruit army, which is this button here. And then over here, we have 2.55, so we can afford that many additional. So we're going to go with this, and then 2 of these, and 2 of these. And they'll just, you can see the little bars that show you how their training is progressing. And then like cheaper and lighter units take a lot less time than say like heavier, more expensive units. Like heavy cavalry typically is pretty much the longest. And then pirates, the ship right here. We can't do much about that because our navy is rather small, but we'll build it up at some point. And so we're gonna declare war, and you can see that our allies are going to be these guys, and these aren't actually our allies, these are our subject nations, which you can see under here. If we go here, you can see subjects, all of those people, and that just means these things stop popping up. That's one of these. These things are really annoying because that just means that this guy wants a job, and if he doesn't get a job, he's just going to keep coming back and be like, I want a job, get less and less loyal, so it says 0 loyalty. So we might want to find a job for this guy. So what we're going to do here is that's going to happen. We're going to pause, and then you're going to try and, typically in heavies, you're going to try and note like what things he's good at. Here you can see he's good at zeal, which is religious things, and so we're going to go here to offices, and you're going to notice that this guy is an 8 and this guy is also an 8, so there's no real thing that says we can't pick this guy, so we'll pick him, and now he has an office in the government and he won't be unhappy. Okay, so now we're going to declare war. So important thing to note with republics is when it's like this, you will have to force it through the Senate, as you can see at the bottom of that little pop-down menu, and you can see all the allies, and you can see at this point only one of our allies will join us, because the other ones just, you can kind of see right here, they're disloyal, which is unfortunate, but we're going to expand. It says force of the Senate plus 5 tyranny, and that much tyranny is not too big, and it will go down rather quickly. And so there you can see now we have war down here, and then we can move our troops into the enemy nation. And so some important things to note when declaring war are these things: forts. And forts take a long time to lay siege to, and they will take a lot of resources to do so. Just checking how much money you have there. So yeah, and you can also, it's also a good thing to note obviously the amount of cohorts that they may have. You can see our allies over there. This guy is a traitor. He's not even in our country. Oh, he's an unruly subject. Okay. They're questioning our leadership. You can see that little bar right there. That'll just say that the nation's occupied, or that tile's occupied. We're gonna head over and we're trying to attack this little army right here. It's 11,000 troops, smaller than ours. Then they look like they're gonna try and run, and we're not gonna be able to follow them unless we do that, because of that fort right there. So we're gonna stay here at this fort and lay siege to it, unless they cross out of our land. Okay. Never mind, that is not a fort. I think I'm going blind. But they are besieging our land over here. As you can see that negative 35 bar. That's just telling you the timeline of the fort siege. You see here, the AI can get really pretty annoying, because they'll kind of constantly be moving around, kind of juking your army in a way. So they're gonna head up here, and then if we were to follow them, we couldn't go past, because we had to lay siege to this fort unless we go a long roundabout way. And so we managed to catch them here. You can see that green combat thing, which means that you're most likely to win. If it's yellow, that means it's kind of anyone's game, and if it's red, that means you're most likely to lose. You kind of see the why of that down below. And then in the battle, it'll slow your time down, and then if you just exit out, it'll speed up. And you can see here that it was a pretty good battle for us. We killed 2,500 other men, and we did take their general prisoner. And now we can actually attack them again. And see, as you can see, there's like no morale there, and that army was able to take them out easily. You see the morale is that yellow bar right there, and after battle it will be depleted, and then it'll go back up a bit. So we're gonna lay siege to this tile right there. As you can see, the war is going pretty well for us. Right here you can see the war score, and then you can see the 2 battles, and then those 2 losses were subject state. You can see like the ranking, which is very high. Then you can see the layout of all the different troops up there. And so, as you can see, the war thing popped up, and also lack of food, which is in your legion, or whatever your army's called. That just means that they're lacking in food, and you might want to send some supply train down there. But supply train is not as good as it seems, because if you look at supply train, it decreases your morale essentially by completely. So if you have, like, I've had an army of like 30,000 face of an army of 8,000, 8,000 army 1 because of that supply of 2 supply trains. So supply trains are not all kind of they're cracked out to be, but you can attach them, and you can see they're trying to engage us there, but we won. And then a lot of these will pop up. They'll just, every time you have a battle, and you can see that's 42% there, so it means it's 42, and then we win. And so now you, after you won a siege, you might want to kind of look out over the overview of the entire battlefield, because like sometimes you can be focusing on one spot like really keenly, like directing all of that, and then you can have like this entire area taken over from one enemy army that is. And so we're just have that guy over there. You can see that's unsieging and then resieging itself. That's based on the lay of the land around it, and since we took that fort, it'll automatically take that land. That siege was actually really quick. It went out, so I've never seen before. It actually went at 0%. So I don't know how that worked, but you can see that our army is pretty much severely depleted by almost 10,000 men roughly. And you can look up here at the manpower tab, and you can see that on the kind of the second section, to replenish the armies, there's a need for 9,644 men, and 0 will reach the armies this month. That means that basically that this army is separated from our home, the mainland, and that troops or soldiers can't get over there. So if you want to replenish your army, you're kind of faster at least, you're going to send them back to your home territory, and then you can see that number will change to 2,000. And then we do have that enemy army there. This nation right here, which did not say it would join the war, but I guess it decided to. Which one is it? That one, okay. So sometimes that'll happen. You'll declare war, it'll go up in the screen, and it'll say the enemy have no allies, and then suddenly, nation joins in. It's kind of annoying. That's kind of the way it is. You can see our economy has drastically improved somehow, because because we're not paying for the other legions of men. Since the cohorts have been depleted, you can see 5 here, but there's only 3,000 men. That means that we're not paying for the other ones because they're not there. And so in war, you can typically maybe recruit some more soldiers. In war, typically, you can probably recruit some more soldiers than your economy would strictly allow because of that. So we're just actually going to recruit a couple soldiers in a... We'll do 2 archers and 2 light infantry, because after a war, typically, if you overextend yourself, you'll be able to get fair amount of tax revenue from the lands you've conquered. That is, if you win, which ideally you do win. And so we're just going to let our army regenerate, and then we're going to engage these armies, which are a bit bigger than us. You can see a Valkyrie army there, and a Snare army is regenerated. It's not such a super long process. You can see that this army is roughly the size of our army, but they are split, and their generals are not as good as our single general, which is an 11, which is pretty good. The max I've seen is about 14. So we are going to probably beat them. You see here, it was a pretty good battle for us. And then you can see that also some supply train, which definitely didn't help them. And then we'll take that, and then... yeah, so what we're going to want to do here is that now that we've driven them back, just a tip, if you have multiple armies, you might kind of get a bit tired of kind of like switching location, maybe want to deal with something else. You can always put them on independent operations, which essentially lets the AI take control, just like any other army that is not controlled by your nation. And as you can see there. And I just noticed, which I probably should have noticed before, civil war. Because these two mates don't like me at all. And they are rather pretty much very powerful. With, oh, I see. They are 0.08% above the threshold. And so now I'm going to show you a bit of a tip. if you ever find yourself in a situation where someone is trying to have civil war, what you might want to do is, you can see Waterwest, we see this guy right here. He's not very loyal. We're going to make him our rival, or alternately, we could, since he's just barely below that loyalty, we could give him a holding or some other various things, and you can just try and find something that will not be like too bad like this. We're not in super great economic situation, so you might not want to give him 50% more wage, because wage is not too high right here, but later in the game it will get bigger. And so we are just going to do this one, Grand Dividends, and now you can see he went away, as well as that red flag there, which symbolizes civil war. And then he's like, yay, and now he's happy for 60 months at least. And so, what we're going to want to do, for 60 months he's going to be happy. By the end of 60 months, he's going to be like, you know, I don't like you anymore. That's 5 years. So what we're going to want to do is make rival. And you can see now in his rival screen, our person has appeared. And now he's disloyal again. Okay, that's kind of annoying. But we'll go into our ruler screen, and you can see that he is here. Barnabas, right there. And you can see plan assassination. And then you can find the person that you want to assassinate. Hit select. Then here you can see that assassinate has 60% chance. And if it does succeed, the guy will be killed by this guy. So that can be useful if you have a guy that's being disloyal and you really have no other option. Like, he's super disloyal. You're not going to want to, like, give him, like, a ton of gold. I don't know, be loyal again. So back to the war. We're going to want to capture that capital city right there. You see our army is getting bigger. And so what I'm actually going to do is split it in half, which you can see down here. And the game sometimes does not like to split it perfectly in half. So you can see here, it's split it into nice, even 10,500 and around 9,000. And this army will need a commander. It will appoint. You see here, kind of a dilemma. We are going to appoint either our ruler or this guy, because he's scorned. Okay, I have a solution. We appoint a ruler, and then we go here to try and fix that scorned guy. This is actually his quirk. Look at that, 12. Maybe we can get him to be a... And you can see this guy, he's a 6. We can get that scorned guy right here, an 8. And then now they're not going to be scorned. There's still one other scorned family, but we'll cover that once we finish the war, so we're not distracted. So get this army to go here, and then the other army we're going to get to over here. And this is a good time once you have multiple armies to put one into independent operation, which I will do for this one. And now that army will do whatever you want. Or it wants, sorry. And then now you can see an enemy army, so I might want to say, you know what, never mind. You get back over here and try and catch this army. You can see its morale is pretty low, so even an army that's smaller than it, by about 4,000 in this case, will be pretty easily be able to take it out. So they are gonna flee into a country that we can't go there because of this. So we're gonna add this guy, tax right here, put him in there, and then it won't work. So we're gonna have to take this siege before, and then we're gonna have this army go out to there and try and make sure he can't go out any other way. So you can see 0%, 14%. Veterans move on. So yeah, a lot of war, and then he's gonna come over here. We can try and catch him like that, and we are gonna end up winning. It looks like. And so wars can take a lot of time. This one's going on for about 3 years, and over the period of the war, you might happen to see under legend war exhaustion. This just depends on how the war goal is being contested, which is up here. Take out Puebla, and that's going good for us. Attacker controls it, which means that they're not going to be as exhausted for more, but you can see that it is going up, and then you can get some adds tyranny to your government, but that will make it go down, and also stability up here. You can sacrifice to the gods, and that will increase the stability if you find yourself at pretty low stability. So we're just gonna lay siege. We're gonna have both armies here because we don't want if the troops count gets too low, they won't be able to successfully surround the city, which is what a siege is, and so it'll just say none. And you mean like what? What do you mean? I have there was 9,000 soldiers, but that's not enough for said fort. So we're gonna put both of them on independent operation, and then we're gonna kind of let them do their thing. And then a lot of time you're kind of just going to be the overseer of the war, kind of controlling them. When they make a bad decision, you can kind of fix it. Or if you see a really big enemy army forming, then you can kind of deal with that. And then here, sacking of that city, or a city somewhere, and looting be gentle, and then let the men roam freely, and none shall hide. You really never want to hit none shall hide, because if you do, a fort like this will turn into uncivilized land, and you will need 10 pops to colonize it, and it's pretty annoying. So typically you just want to let the looting go gentle, otherwise they'll just kill a bunch of people. And then since you're probably planning to take this area, and then here, what are they doing? They want to go back. So yep, sometimes you are going to need to take control and tell them, well, I want you over there. But in this case, our you can see our war score has gotten pretty high at 95. The max is 100, and 100 just means that you've completely taken everything. As you can see here, this is the value that is a maximum of 100. If once it's at 100, you can't do any more. And this is aggressive expansion that you will get after getting this land. And then this is just saying that they will accept this offer. That's next. They won't accept it. As you can see here, they are perfectly fine making this offer. So we can get a bit more ambitious. We'll cancel down there, and we'll tell these armies to go down and lay siege to this and try and get this entire area. So this one fort is our capital, and if we capture it, it will automatically siege the rest of the area down there. And we might want to send, oh, that army's on that, looks like. So they'll just sit right there. That is an allied army, right? No, it is not. Got confused for a sec there. Pro tip: always make sure that you know what flag your allies and enemies are, because these ones are not our allies. And so they're going to attack. We are most likely to win, but you never know. And so their morale seems like it was rather low at the start, and we are going to win that. And you can see our allies coming over here and reinforcing, and then leaving, and then going over there. Yeah. Never count on these guys. They could just leave, and if you want, we'll say something while it's sieging about independent operation. If you want a fort to be sieged, don't put them on independent operation at the fort, because then they'll just walk away if an army passes. And you can see our troops are just about completely depleted, but we are winning by 99, and so what that means is if we should capture that capital, that means we will be able to take the entire area. If their army catches us, we won't. But these things right here, you don't have to have all the little ones captured. What matters is capitals, and if we can capture that capital, we have, right as about to finish the war, a new leader and stability drop, because this new ruling party has this kind of annoying part of republics. They'll just go down in stability every time you have a new party. And so they'll be able to catch us. Right before, you can see they have more troops. Maybe our troops are better trained. Maybe our commander's better, which it looks like he is by 5 points. And so we were able to completely destroy them. And so now you can see that's 99. If you want to get to 100, what you're going to have to occupy everything and kill every single enemy soldier. And so there's really no need to do that, because they're going to accept our offer anyway. See here, we're going to get their entire every single bit of land that they own. We're going to hit OK. And then this will increase our rank to regional power. And so that's just local power is just like right around here. Regional power, that's our bigger area. The major power, that's a bigger area. Then last one is about like kind of empire or national power, and then empire. And so here it'll just say they gave us all of these different provinces. And now we have control all of this. And you can see a mission task can be completed. Because we conquered a lot of this land, we now control all of that. And we can hit that, and it'll just become golden. And then you can also start doing something else, like one of these, convert Capia, and we'll hit that, and then it's golden, and then eventually you have to go all the way down to here, and it will destroy these ones over here if you want to pick. You have to kind of pick a side for these. So that's going to be about it for this episode. It's been rather long. Next episode, we're going to kind of start resolving some of these things that we didn't, that kind of grew during the war. And so, thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.